If Messiah reigns in the 45th or in the 72nd Psalms, he suffers. Nay, he is preeminent among the suffering in the 22nd Psalm. We might suppose that the suffering just one who is described by David reaches the climax of anguish. But the portrait of an archetypal sorrow has been even more minutely touched by the hand of Isaiah. In both writers, however, the deepest humiliations and woes are confidently treated as the prelude to an assured victory. The psalmist passes from what is little less than an elaborate program of the historical circumstances of the crucifixion to an announcement that by these unexampled sufferings the heathen will be converted, and all the kindreds of the Gentiles will be brought to adore the true God. The prophet describes the servant of God as despised and rejected of men. His sorrows are viewed with general satisfaction. They are accounted a just punishment for his own supposed crimes, yet in reality he bears our infirmities and carries our sorrows. His wounds are due to our transgressions. His stripes have a healing virtue for us. His sufferings and death are a trespass offering. On him is laid the iniquity of us all. If in Isaiah the inner meaning of the tragedy is more fully insisted on, the picture itself is not less vivid than that of the Psalter. The suffering servant stands before his judges. His visage is so marred, more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. Like a lamb, innocent, defenceless, dumb, he is led forth to the slaughter. He is cut off from the land of the living. Yet the prophet pauses at his grave to note that he shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied, that God will divide him a portion with the great, and that he will himself divide the spoil with the strong. And all this is to follow, because he hath poured out his soul unto death. His death is to be the condition of his victory. His death is the destined instrument whereby he will achieve his mediatorial reign of glory. Place yourselves, brethren, by an effort of intellectual sympathy, in the position of the men who heard this language while its historical fulfillment, so familiar to us Christians, was as yet future. How self-contradictory must it have appeared to them, how inexplicable, how full of paradox. How strong must have been the temptation to anticipate that invention of a double Messiah to which the later Jewish doctors had recourse, that they might escape the manifest cogency of the Christian argument. That our Lord should actually have submitted himself to the laws and agencies of disgrace and discomfiture, and should have turned his deepest humiliation into the very weapon of his victory, is not the least among the evidences of his divine power and mission. And the prophecy which so paradoxically dared to say that he would in such fashion both suffer and reign, assuredly and implicitly contained within itself another and a higher truth. Such majestic control over the ordinary conditions of failure betokens something more than an extraordinary man, something not less than a distinctly superhuman personality. Taken in connection with the redemptive powers, the worldwide sway, the spiritual, heart-controlling teaching, so distinctly ascribed to him, this prediction that the Christ would die and would convert the whole world by death prepares us for the most explicit statements of the prophets respecting his person. It is no surprise to a mind which has dwelt steadily on the destiny which prophecy thus assigns to Messiah, that Isaiah and Zechariah should speak of him as divine. We will not lay stress upon the fact that in Isaiah the Redeemer of Israel and of men is constantly asserted to be the Creator, who by himself will save his people. Significant as such language is, as to the bent of the divine mind, it is not properly messianic, but in that great prophecy, the full and true sense of which is so happily suggested to us by its place in the church services for Christmas Day, the Son who is given to Israel receives a fourfold name. He is a wonderful counselor, or wonderful above all earthly things, above all earthly beings. He possesses a nature which man cannot fathom, and he thus shares and unfolds the divine mind. He is the Father of the everlasting age, or of eternity. He is the Prince of Peace. Above all, he is expressly named the Mighty God. Conformably with this, Jeremiah calls him Jehovah Tzidkenu, as Isaiah had called him Emmanuel. Micah speaks of his eternal pre-existence, as Isaiah had spoken of his endless reign. Daniel predicts that his dominion is an everlasting dominion that shall not pass away. Zechariah terms him the fellow or equal of the Lord of hosts, and refers in the clearest language to his incarnation and passion as being that of Jehovah himself. Haggai implies his divinity by foretelling that his presence will make the glory of the second temple greater than the glory of the first. Malachi points to him as the angel of the covenant, Jehovah, whom Israel was seeking and who would suddenly come to his temple. Read this language as a whole. Read it by the light of the great doctrine which it attests and which it in turn illuminates. It, the doctrine of a Messiah divine as well as human. All is natural, consistent, full of point and meaning.